Number 10. Two-stroke engine. The two-stroke engine used to dominate motorcycling. Simpler design, lighter weight, more power per cc than four strokes. But there was a problem the regulators couldn't ignore. Two strokes burn oil mixed with fuel, which means unburned hydrocarbons exit straight from the exhaust. That distinctive blue smoke is the result of this combustion process. While the engines were incredibly effective for racing and off-road use, emissions regulations changed everything. In 2002, MotoGP changed its rules to allow 996 four-strokes while keeping two strokes capped under 500 cc. By 2003, not a single two-stroke remained in the premier class. The writing was on the wall for street bikes too. In the U.S., federal emission standards got serious starting with the 2006 model year, with Tier 1 standards hitting at 1.4 grams per kilometer of hydrocarbons plus nitrogen oxides. Then came Tier 2 in 2010 for Class 3 motorcycles at 0.8 grams per kilometer. Traditional two-strokes couldn't meet these numbers without expensive direct injection systems. So they disappeared from street motorcycle showrooms. You can still find them in off-road and dirt racing, where EPA doesn't regulate closed-course competition bikes. Modern two-strokes from KTM and Husqvarna use fuel injection and meet current standards, but they're dirt-only machines. The street two-stroke era ended because clean air regulations made them economically unviable for manufacturers. Number 9. Single-cylinder engine. One piston. One cylinder. Maximum character. This is the single-cylinder engine, and the nickname Thumper describes exactly what you experience when you twist the throttle. Single-cylinder engines are as old as motorcycles themselves, but they found their true calling in dirt bikes. This is the engine layout that dominates dual sports, enduros, and supermotos. The nickname Thumper comes from exactly what you'd expect. At idle, you can literally feel each combustion event shake the bike. One big piston firing creates a distinctive thump-thump-thump that's impossible to mistake. Older long-stroke singles from the 1960s and 70s had such pronounced pulses that the vibration was part of the riding experience. Modern big singles use counterbalancers to tame vibrations, but they still deliver that punchy, torquey character. Ducati recently introduced the Super Quattro Mono with 659cc producing 77.5 horsepower at 9,750 RPM in standard form or 85 horsepower with the racing exhaust. KTM's been building big singles for decades with their 690 platform. And Royal Enfield proves you can sell hundreds of thousands of simple 350cc pre-6cc and 500cc singles to riders who appreciate mechanical simplicity. The advantages of singles include lightweight design, easy maintenance, perfect weight distribution, and power delivery that's all about usable torque rather than screaming revs. Not every motorcycle needs complexity to be effective. Number 8. Parallel twin engine. Two cylinders lined up next to each other. This is the parallel twin, the engine configuration that basically built the British motorcycle industry and now powers half the middleweight bikes sold in America. Triumph started the modern parallel twin era in 1937 with Edward Turner's Speed Twin. This 498cc parallel twin fit into the same frame as their single-cylinder Tiger 90, but delivered smoother power and better performance. The Speed Twin established a template that BSA, Norton, and every other British manufacturer followed throughout the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. These engines typically used a 360-degree crankshaft, meaning both pistons rose and fell together. Simple to build, but it vibrated considerably. The Japanese manufacturers took over in the 1960s and 70s with different ideas. Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki preferred 180-degree crankshafts for smoother operation and higher revs. The 1966 Honda CB450 proved you could make serious power from a parallel twin while keeping vibrations in check with balance shafts. Today, parallel twins are everywhere. They're the default engine for middleweight bikes because they're cheaper to build than fours, lighter than B-twins, and with modern 270-degree cranks and balance shafts, they're smooth enough for all-day riding. The Yamaha MT-07, Honda NC750, Triumph Street Twin, and Kawasaki Z650 all use variations of this layout. Sometimes the 1937 solution is still the right answer in 2025. Number 7. V-twin engine, two cylinders arranged in a V configuration. The concept sounds simple until you realize the angle between those cylinders creates completely different motorcycle personalities, Harley-Davidson built its first V-twin in 1909 with a 45-degree layout. That narrow angle, combined with a single crankpin for both connecting rods, creates the iconic Harley sound, that irregular potato-potato cadence that's so distinctive the company actually tried to trademark it. The narrow V-twin became the foundation of American cruiser culture, with low center of gravity, long stroke for massive torque, air cooling, and a sound that's unmistakable. Then there's Ducati. In 1971, they introduced the 750 GT with Fabio Taglioni's L-twin design in 90-degree V configured like the letter L with one cylinder nearly horizontal. This wide-angle layout with desmodromic valve timing created something completely different. The 90-degree angle provides perfect primary balance, allowing these engines to rev higher and produce more specific power than Harley's cruiser mills. Ducati L-twins power everything from their monster street fighters to Panigale superbikes. Same basic configuration, totally opposite execution. Harley's 45-degree V-twin is all about that low RPM torque and cruiser character. Ducati's 90-degree L-twin is about high RPM power and racetrack performance. Both are V-twins, both have massive followings, and both sound completely different. The engineering philosophy matters as much as the cylinder count. Number 6. Boxer Twin Engine. The Boxer Twin features cylinders that stick straight out from the sides of the engine. It's been BMW's signature since 1923. The R32 was BMW's first boxer-powered motorcycle, and the company's treated this layout as core identity ever since. The configuration is officially called a flat twin or horizontally opposed twin, but everyone calls them boxers because the pistons move like fists in a boxing match. When one piston punches out, the other punches in. This layout delivers perfect primary balance because opposing pistons cancel out each other's forces. No need for counterbalance shafts. That translates to remarkably smooth operation, especially compared to singles or parallel twins. The horizontal cylinder orientation also puts the heaviest parts of the engine low and wide, lowering the center of gravity and improving handling. Plus, those cylinder heads jutting into the airstream make air cooling incredibly effective. BMW stuck with the Boxer through decades of trends and changes. From the original R32 through the current R1250 GS, which dominates global adventure bike sales, the Boxer Twin remains BMW's calling card. The cylinders protruding from the sides serve real engineering purposes: low center of gravity, perfect balance, and efficient cooling. Before we reveal the final four, make sure to leave a like and share your thoughts on which engine configuration you think sounds the best. Number 5. Inline triple engine. 3 cylinders in a row. More complex than a twin, simpler than a four. The inline triple occupies a sweet spot that Triumph has turned into their modern identity. Triumph's modern triple story starts at their Hinckley factory in 1990. After the company was resurrected by John Bloor, Triumph needed an engine that differentiated them from Japanese fours and Harley V-twins. The solution was a DOHC inline 3-cylinder platform ranging from 675cc to 120cc that powers everything from the street triple naked bike to the Tiger adventure machines. What makes triples special? They split the difference between twins and fours in all the best ways. Smoothen the twin because you've got 3 evenly spaced power pulses per revolution instead of 2. More character than a 4 because odd numbers of cylinders create asymmetrical harmonics that give each engine a distinctive voice. Narrower than a 4-cylinder engine, which improves lean angle and chassis packaging, and they deliver strong mid-range torque without needing to scream to redline like many 4s. The triple sound is unmistakable, not the howl of an inline-4, not the thump of a twin, but something in between with its own personality. Triumph basically owns this configuration in the modern era, though Yamaha's played with it in their MT-09, and MV Agusta uses triples in their F3 sport bikes. 3 cylinders deliver a unique balance of smoothness and character. Number 4. Inline-4 engine. The inline-4-cylinder engine revolutionized motorcycling, and you can trace the explosion back to one bike, the 1969 Honda CB700 Honda called the CB750 the world's first mass-produced motorcycle with a 750cc 4-stroke 4-cylinder OHC engine. They showed the prototype in 1968 and started exporting to the US and Canada in 1969. The CB7 Fiat had 4 carburetors, overhead cam, electric start, a front disc brake, and it was smoother, more powerful, and more reliable than anything the British manufacturers were building. Honda basically wrote the template for the modern motorcycle in one package. The British industry never recovered. The inline-four's advantages are obvious once you ride one. 4 small pistons instead of 2 large ones means less reciprocating mass, which allows higher revs. 4 evenly spaced power pulses per revolution create incredibly smooth operation, no counterbalancers needed. And with proper intake and exhaust tuning, inline-fours can produce massive power. Modern superbikes like the Yamaha R1, Kawasaki's ZX-10R, and Honda CBR 1000 RRR make 200 horsepower or more from around a liter of displacement. The inline-four became the default engine for sport bikes through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. It's only recently that twins started making a comeback in middleweight sport bikes. But for pure top-end power and glass-smooth delivery, nothing beats a screaming inline-four at 14,000 RPM. This is the configuration that killed the British motorcycle industry and defined the Japanese superbike era. Number 3. V4 engine. Honda introduced the V4 to their production lineup in 1982 with the VF and VFR series. This configuration packs race bike technology into a street-legal package. The V4 configuration packs 4 cylinders into a compact, narrow package by arranging them in a V. Honda chose a 90-degree angle for perfect primary balance and compact width. Unlike an inline-four, which spreads its mass front to back, the V4 concentrates everything between the frame rails. This improves handling by centralizing mass and allows for better weight distribution. The VFR line became legendary for delivering sport bike power with all-day comfort. The V4 produces that incredible top-end rush of an inline-four, but with slightly more low-end and mid-range torque because of the V configuration. Later VFRs got gear-driven cams, which created a mechanical whine that riders either loved or hated. There was no in-between. Ducati uses the V4 in their current Panigale superbikes. Aprilia builds the RS V4 around a 65-degree V4, and Honda still makes the VFR 800 for sport touring riders. The configuration never became as common as the inline-four because it's more complex and expensive to build. More parts, more machining, tighter tolerances. But when you nail the engineering, you get a motor that combines the compactness of a twin with the smoothness and power of a four. That's why MotoGP bikes use V4s. It's the best compromise between packaging, power, and handling. Number 2. Flat 6 engine. The Honda Goldwing proves that 6 cylinders can work on 2 wheels, and the way Honda engineered it is a packaging masterpiece. Honda launched the original Goldwing in 1975 with a flat 4 engine, basically a boxer with 4 cylinders. That bike set the standard for luxury touring, but Honda wanted more. At the 1987 Cologne show, they debuted the GL 1500 with a flat 6 engine. 6 horizontally opposed cylinders, water-cooled, pumping out smooth, effortless power. The flat 6 layout solves the vibration problem inherent in 4-cylinder boxers while keeping that low center of gravity. With 6 cylinders, you get 6 power pulses per revolution, creating turbine-like smoothness. The horizontal orientation keeps the engine compact vertically and spreads the weight wide and low. This makes the Goldwing feel lighter and more manageable than its 800-plus pound wet weight suggests. The current Goldwing still uses a 1,833 cc flat 6, making around 125 horsepower. It's not about peak power, it's about refinement, smoothness, and endless torque for two-up touring with luggage through the mountains. The flat 6 is expensive to manufacture and only makes sense in a flagship touring bike where buyers prioritize comfort over cost. But for riders crossing continents with a passenger and gear, nothing else delivers that level of smoothness. Honda's been perfecting this engine for nearly 40 years, and it remains the gold standard for big touring power. Number 1. Inline-6 engine. Sometimes engineers build something just because they can. The 6-cylinder motorcycle is the ultimate proof of that philosophy. The Honda CBX is the legend here. Produced from 1978 to 1982, the CBX featured a 1,047 cc transverse inline-6 derived from Honda's earlier Grand Prix racing technology. 6 cylinders, 6 carburetors, dual overhead cams, 24 valves, and that engine note an absolutely howling shriek that hit 9,000 RPM and made around 105 horsepower. It was wide, complex, expensive, and completely impractical. It was also glorious. The CBX proved that Honda's engineering team could take six-cylinder GP technology and make it work on the street. BMW took a different approach with their K1600 series, launched in 2011. Instead of a transverse 6, BMW mounted a 1,649cc inline-six longitudinally in the frame. This engine produces 160 horsepower and massive torque across the entire rev range. It's built for sport touring bikes like the K1600 GT and K1600 GTL that can carve canyons one day and haul 2 riders plus luggage across Europe the next. These engines exist because manufacturers wanted to flex their engineering muscles. Six-cylinder motorcycles don't make practical sense. They're heavy, complex, and expensive, but they deliver bragging rights and smoothness that nothing else matches. The CBX and K1600 prove that sometimes the best reason to build something is simply to prove you can do it better than anyone else. That's engineering excellence, and it's what separates legendary motorcycles from merely good ones. We hope you enjoyed this video. Here's another one you'll love. As always, thanks for watching.